you guys a sneak peek of my hypertrophy day. Periodization, blocking out months or periods of time where you're doing certain exercises, certain movements, certain rep ranges to achieve a certain goal is very common and obviously works, and it's something I do. But for me, since I don't compete that often and my training is kind of here or there, I do that with kind of my main moves, where specificity is king. The closer you get to a competition, the more bench, squat, dead, competition style you want to do to be proficient at that movement, because that's what you're going to have to do at the competition. Variations of that further out, right? Basic kind of programming principles here. But in terms of hypertrophy, bodybuilding, people don't always associate that with powerlifting because they think something like a curl is too non-specific. But the truth is, for many of you, even myself, who's been lifting for 15 years, the more muscle we have, the stronger we're going to be in the long run, and the healthier, the more balances we're going to have. So squat, bench, dead, I think leaves some holes in muscle balance and hypertrophy, even if you do those for sets of 10. So I like to do a lot of pulling movements, build my back up, and I also like to build my arms up. Something I have is a weakness in the bench. It's kind of the lift I struggle with most, so I like to do more work in my arms. The bigger biceps, more padding I have as I bench, the more deacceleration I have in my pressing movements. Obviously bigger triceps can help to press and lock out. So back, biceps, and tris is what I'm doing 3 days a week, and I'm going to show you guys an example of that right now. Today's my lightest day, kind of the pump day, so it'll be set to like 15 on all movements. I don't have a very strict in terms of what I do, but I like to do 1 or 2 pulls, vertical pulls, 1 or 2 horizontal pulls, 2 or 3 tricep, 2 or 3 bicep exercises, 3 to 5 sets each, depends on how it feels. Rep range, as I mentioned, 15 today, 12 to 15. Weights are going to be light, obviously, because I got to get that 15, I got to get that pump, I got to get that squeeze. And I think those are my arguments for bodybuilding for power lifters. It's not that complicated. It's not that detailed. I do go through hypertrophy phases with the actual lifts themselves, which I'm kind of in, as you guys have been following along. Hopefully you're subscribed. Hopefully you're liking these videos, because I'm doing sets of 10 on squats. As I get closer to the meet, I'm going to focus more on a meet, hypothetically, because I don't plan on competing anytime soon. Start to do more triples, doubles, singles, working on the speed, strength, and raising that intensity closer to my 1 rep max, handling heavier weights. But for now, it's all about work, like my girl Rihanna said, So come along with me, let's train. What's up, people? Back into the voiceover. As I mentioned, the hypertrophy bodybuilding-esque day. So many questions to still answer. Hopefully I helped with that intro with some of them, but people are always talking about power building. Hey, I want to gain strength. Hey, I want to gain size. And I've harped on this many a time, but hopefully you guys know by now, and if you haven't, now you know that strength and size do work very much so hand in hand. Gaining strength will help you gain size, and gaining size will help you gain strength. So one may happen a little faster than the other. Typically strength happens a little bit faster because of neural adaptation, getting more proficient at the movement. The better you get at the movement, it's easier to practice the movement than it is to build muscle over time. Obviously you want to do both at the same time, and that's why I train all rep ranges with the main movements, bench, squat, dead, and here on the back and biceps. So as I mentioned, today's the kind of 12 to 15 rep range on my bodybuilding movements, but I also have a day that's more like 6 to 8s, and I have a day that's more like 8s to 10s, and then if I'm feeling real frisky, y'all, feeling the frisky, I'll do some heavy 3s and 5s, even on a chin-up or a row, just because I think there's merit to all that, hitting different muscle fibers, as I talk about this all the time. Everything's feeling good. Diet's locked in. We're trending downward again, getting leaner. Strength is still feeling good. I'm going to switch up some stuff here soon, just on my main days. Exercise variation as I am traveling, so I want to just have a little bit of fun, not take it so serious. So I'm going to do a little bit more conventional pulling, maybe some rack pulls rather than my sumo. On the bench, I'll probably stick to the bench, but maybe we'll throw in some bands and chains for shits and gigs. Do your boy a favor, give it a thumbs up, give it a like for the voiceover. As I mentioned on the bodybuilding days, depending on how precise you want to be and how optimal you want it to be, I do think it is important to choose exercises and then progress with them. If I'm doing 130 pounds on the pull down for 3 sets of 12 this week, I should try to do 130 pounds for 3 sets of 13 the following week, 14, then 15, and then move up to 140 pounds, whatever it might be. I do think there is a lot of merit to that, and that's obviously a way that can help, but I don't have the patience for that on my bodybuilding days or on my hypertrophy days. On my main movements, I do. I'll track things. I'll progress things via percentage for myself. I like percentages a little bit over RPE, as I think, in my personal opinion, there's too much variance and too much room for mistake on the RPE. It's too big of a learning gap for many. And again, I've been doing this for a while now, and I still sometimes, I feel like it was an RPE 10, and I'll see in video and it was a fucking smoke show. So I think what we perceive, obviously rate of perceived exertion, and how difficult something actually was or how much more is in the tank are not always the best. Although many lifters, Mike Tashir, I think Bryce Lewis kind of works off a little bit of an RPE here and there. I do think it can work, but it's not for me. And I have coached some people with it that a little more in tuned. Sometimes it may work with a certain lift and not others. Something like Little Smokey, who's very good with the bench press. I might be able to kind of give him RPE ranges and prescriptions on the bench, but I don't think I could with the squat because he would probably sandbag on the squat a little bit. He doesn't know what he's capable of. Here's one of my favorite machines. Hammer strength's a great movement, great tool. Chest supported rows, I think, is a very good variation that can really help you guys build up your back. Talked about it a little bit, I guess a lot of it all the time, but the bigger lats, the bigger the traps, the bigger your back can get. I believe not only does it look fucking cool, it looks powerful, and for you bodybuilders, aesthetics is obviously very important to balance it out. But for powerlifters, it is the base, it is the key to everything we're doing here. It's going to help build up that bench, squat, and deadlift, give you a platform for all those. Finished off with chin-ups. The goal is to do some mega chin-ups as I'm dropping weight. I'm excited because I'm already pretty good at them right now. All out set, I might be able to get near 20. Right now I'm doing, fresh days, maybe 3 sets of 12, but since it's at the end of the workout, I did about 3 sets of 10 to 12, cheating a little bit, getting a little bit of hip thrust involved. One arm tricep pushback. I mentioned this many times. Alberto Nunez does it, and I'm just a big fan. It feels a good squeeze on my arm. It's easy on my elbows. Elbows are feeling a little beat up from all this. Critique my lifting form all you guys want. I'm not aiming for much on my hypertrophy days, on my back, biceps, and triceps, other than to kind of feel the muscle and move it semi-controlled. And I think, whether science says it or not, you can point to so many lifters, bodybuilders, power lifters, etc., that have built up a large mass of muscle in many different ways. You can point to guys like Branch Warren and Ronnie Coleman who maybe use a little bit of body English in sloppy form or whatever you want to call it, a little bit of give on their curls, on their chin-ups, on their rows, barbell rows, etc. And then the opposite, you obviously have guys like Phil Heath, Kai Green, and others that are very strict, very controlled on their biceps, triceps, back movements like that. And all of them have built up a ton of muscle mass. And I think the same could be said for powerlifters, natural bodybuilders, CrossFitters, whatever you want to say, strongman, however you want to point it out. I think the case is a lot of times I do like to hear the research. I do like to hear from people like Lane Norton, Eric Helms, Alan Aragon, Brad Schoenfeld, and what they find in the lab. But sometimes you just got to survey the land and see some commonalities, and that's what I see. So on these movements, sometimes my curls will be a little stricter, sometimes they'll be a little bit more in English, a little bit looser. Same with the chin-ups, same with the pull-ups, same with the triceps. And so far, over my 15 years, I'm no Ronnie Coleman, but I built up a little bit of muscle. The arms are growing. I'm excited about that. I've never been able to get my arms to grow, so having around 17-inch arms and still losing body fat makes me feel really good. So if I can get down to 200, 190 range and maintain somewhere in that 17-inch arms, I'll be pretty stoked. Still get a lot of questions if I'm going to bodybuild. Yes, I'm going to bodybuild. It's just kind of a matter of when. I have so much going on right now. But I guess you could call this the first phase. I bulked pretty hard for that powerlifting meet. Got myself up to about 233 pounds. Now I'm around 220 pounds. I'll get myself to about 200 to 210. And then maybe we'll ask some advice from a professional and get diced, bruh, if you know what I'm saying. Subscribe to this bitch, like this bitch. I appreciate you guys. More videos coming 4 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. You can expect new videos from me in this channel. I'm out ya.